Hello and welcome to Plugging Along, a stream dedicated to LOTRO plugins. Last time on Plugging Along, we explored how to use the Festival Buddy 2 plugin in the Spring Festival Encore. And today we're going to look at updating Deed Tracker for update 46, Kingdoms of Harad. As always, feel free to jump into chat with your thoughts and questions. And in the meantime, let's go ahead and move some windows around, or at least make things more visible. So I'm here in the Dead Marshes with my loyal turtle. We are keeping an eye out for the warband. I'm trying to remember if it is warband. There's a warband here that can drop once a day with a quest a frog. And I'm just curious how long it takes for that warband to respawn. So I think it's about 5 minutes, but we're going to just murder them over and over and over again just to get our frustration out that we have not gotten this frog yet. Specifically, this is a frog, the marsh frog, available from a warband in the Dead Marshes. Hey, Delirian, good evening, Germany.
Have you already done it today?
Yeah. So the marsh frog comes from this warband, the something like this, the solitary hunter, something like that. And the only reason I care so much about it, and I do, is that there's a race and social quest for friendly frogs, of which I have 4 out of 5 of them. I have the normal frog, the pond frog, the copperback frog, and the fog frog. But I don't have the marsh frog, and there's something like 1% chance of it dropping in the little box of spoils that you get from this warband here in the Dead Marshes. So that's why we are here at all. I just have Affidel logged out here in the marsh, and I just pop on once a day and take them out. And as Little Redhead actually had a pretty good idea, as my other characters that I'm doing landscape difficulty on, as they top out to level 130, or probably 131 for the legendary item Reforge point, I'm just going to park them over here because as far as we can tell, the marsh frog is not bound when it drops, possibly not even bound to account. And so as I have 11 or 12 different characters just parked here, that will definitely help play the numbers game. Delirian says 12 points for the Netherlands. I don't know. I'm not sure we're going to be getting 12 points anytime soon. Delirian confirms it is not bound. So our plan is, as each of our 11 other characters tops out at 131. Yep, Delirian confirms drop frequency of 1%. We're going to park them here, and then just every day for a week or two, just log in with pairs of characters, so doubling the chances, one of Little Redhead's and one of mine, take out the warband, completing that once-a-day quest, and then, it's not one of those things, it doesn't work directly where you can be like, well, if it's a 1% chance, just do it 100 times. It's not quite that. But if we come on over to a spreadsheet, let's go ahead and have a spreadsheet. If the normal chance, if we do some math, and let's see if I can do it live on stream without thinking about it too hard. So 1 minus equals 1 minus power 0.99 to row. I feel like the warband just walked past me. Hang on a second. Yes, it was. This is 6 minutes, but he doesn't spawn here. The lone hunter, not the solitary hunter. Slight delay on my commands being executed on the server. Fortunately, I am overleveled for this area. Delirian says the turtle has the same drop chance. Yeah, I'm more concerned with the marsh frog, but it is true that as Little Redhead and I each get the marsh frog, we'll probably reposition to the northwest side of the marsh for the other warband. It's just too far to run back and forth multiple times. I don't have that in me, but if we can get at least 2 of the marsh frogs going here, maybe put if we get any more than that, just put them up on the auction house for bazillions of gold. Oh, right. Restart that timer. Then, move characters over to the other warband and start worrying about that one. And that is the other turtle, the well-traveled turtle, available from a warband in the Dead Marshes. And it's very spiky. I like the look of it, but the loyal turtle is quite loyal. Okay, awesome. So, what else we're doing? All right, so if there's a 1% chance, it's easier to think that for defeating it, that it is a 1 minus 0.99. Really? Yes, I am using commas as my radix point, apparently. So there's a 1% chance on the first one. But what you can do is 1 minus power of 0.99 to rho. That's what I was trying to do before. And for one chance, yes, it is just a 1% chance. But it is not a straight 1% chance each time. The chance of going defeating the monster 50 times and getting it, if I've done my math correct, it's not quite a 1-to-1. But if you do it 100 times, you'll have a good chance of getting it. That's my hope. And instead of one character doing it 100 times, have 10 characters do it each 10 times. It'll be easier. Okay, while we wait for the respawn of the Lone Hunter, let's go ahead and pull up our Visual Studio Code that we're using to edit our D-Tracker plugin. And I think I've already closed it, but let's go ahead and bring up our source control tool. Now in this case, I'm using Fork, which I got from fork.dev. I can't imagine their search engine optimization is very easy if you search for Fork online. But if you search for Fork and GitHub, I think it comes up. Let's find out. Fork, GitHub. Okay. No. Tool. Fork. Oh, Git. How about fork Git? All right, Git dash fork. Yeah. Oh no. The second one. Okay, that is it. I'm just used to it being fork.dev. Okay. So they've done some pretty impressive jobs getting the search engine to find them. Let's see. Tellurian says, I've done the Hunter for the frog 420 times and the other warband 415 times for the turtle, and has acquired 4 frogs and 3 turtles. Yeah, that sounds about right. Now, my hope is that by doubling it up, we help changing that number a little bit. So if we have 10 characters each, that's 20 per day. We can get 100 in a week, and take the weekends off, and then so in a month of doing it, we can get that 400. But our characters aren't quite at 131 either, so it's one of those things where I have a plan to do this, but I'm not ready to enact that plan. Okay, so let's look at our local directory here, because we see some changes that are not committed. We have one line here. Yes. There was a problem with the caret graphic that a lot of plugin authors have referred to this little caret symbol, which is the symbol for the in-game caret menu. And there was just an Imgur image out there that just got, that link got copied over to multiple of my plugin descriptions, and maybe other people's as well. And apparently with some new internet censorship laws that have been passing in the UK, this is being shown differently if you're in the UK and possibly other places. And so I was just replacing it with a link that I have control over at lifebeyondtheshire.com. So that's great. Updated link to image. We're just going to go ahead and commit that. To-do file. Great. That is moving around. And some more stuff. Okay. to do file changes. We'll just go ahead and accept that. And we're slowly moving that to do file over to GitHub issues. Okay. Command. What's going on here? Oh yeah, I was just noticing that if you do / help, then you get a list of all the in-game, well, many of the in-game commands. And if you have a plugin loaded and your plugin has opted into it, then it can participate into in this / help. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. We saw that we ended with yes, and then if we do / help again, we can see that we ended with Lua, dtracker, deeds, deed or deeds. Shows / hides the main deed tracker window. Awesome. So I had noticed that I only had deed tracker in there, not also / deed or deeds, even those do work. According to my notes, the sorcerer is back. Obviously, it doesn't do any good to murder sorcerer. It just makes me feel better. Okay, so I wanted to show all three of those as possibilities. Well, that's the get help. The short. Okay. So when dtracker was prefixed here, it would be dtracker, deed, deeds, and then it would be dtracker : shows hides the main window. Is that what the problem was? Which way am I changing? Apparently, I need to stash this so I understand what's different. Question mark? Okay. So, what did it look like before? / help. And okay, so dtracker : was in there. I didn't like that. Also, if you do / help space dtracker, you should get this as well. And I didn't like that dtracker was showing up here either, necessarily. So let's see what it does now. I said apply. Oh. It did apply, apparently. Okay, so we've unloaded. We'll reload. We'll go ahead and / help dtracker. Okay, so if you do / help dtracker, deed, or deeds, we should see / help deed. Yep. Where'd it go? Okay, I understand it better now. So this is what happens if you do help for. Yeah, let's comment this. Commands. So this is what to show when the user types / help space dtracker / help deed or / help deeds. Nope, that is the short help. Okay. And then this, what to show when the user types / help. I don't think I like those quotes. Okay. Yeah, so now if we do / help, we see what's doing the tab help. That's not right. I have it backwards. Okay. So, / help. Shows hides the main deed tracker window. Note. LOTRO will prepend with all registered commands, so this will show as okay, great. And then if we do /help deed tracker, note, LOTRO will not prepend, that's a bad hyphen, with anything other than date, time, if that is enabled. Example. Perfect. Okay. So now I will never need to deduce how this works again, I hope. Let's come on in here. Clarified wording on chat command help text. Great. This was, what was I playing around with? One of the other plugins, I was playing around with chat commands, and while I was doing that, I noticed that the way the deed tracker commands were set up, well, it wasn't really appealing to me. Okay, so we now have a clean working directory other than, let's get rid of that. Okay, other than our debug options equals true. Great. So this is deed tracker here, but I have reset my plugin data files for the purposes of the stream. I just moved them out of the way before LOTRO started. So it doesn't know about any completed deeds. Now, the tool that we currently have to import that status from the third-party program LOTRO Companion is based on the songbook importer, I believe, and it's written as an HTA, a hypertext application. And every once in a blue moon, someone has a problem where it will not run on their system. And oh, I wonder if it's a 6-minute respawn timer, because it is 6 minutes and a couple of seconds after we defeated Sorzer here. But I'm going to go ahead and take him out anyway. All right, reset and start the timer. Okay, so I feel like maybe I could embed that in the stream somehow if I was thinking about it more. So, yeah, it's currently a HTA, hypertext application, because that was just a really easy way to adapt something that already existed and be able to include it with the plugin. But there's some chatter in the plugin Discord server about maybe it should be something a little bit more modern and less prone to that kind of a problem. And someone mentioned that PowerShell allows you to do user interfaces, which I had not realized was a thing. So I'm very interested in learning about that, but maybe not learning about it on stream for the very start. So I'll be looking more into that over time. But for tonight, we're just going to focus on something that hopefully I can do in more of my sleep. So we're going to go ahead and pull up in our source control now that we have a clean working directory. Hopefully there's something like maintenance. Excellent. So these are notes that I have made to myself for how do I add new deeds. These are the steps. So step 1, pull in updates from LOTRO data. I have done this. I did that off screen. But what it would look like is coming on over to the LOTRO data plugin, doing a fetch, and then updating what we're pointing at. So I'm pointing at the latest here. Excellent. Thank you, Damien. Okay, open the LOTRO Companion Combiner solution. Well, I can do that. LOTRO Companion Combiner. Okay. I think this is over that I pushed out to GitHub every once in a while as well. Just in case I get hit by a bus, and you don't have to reinvent it from scratch. But what we want to do is open this and run the LOTRO Companion Combiner project. The way we'll know this works is that it will generate all the localized versions of these files which make life a little bit easier for me. So LOTRO companion combiner. Let's go ahead and run that and see how it goes. Okay, so that has stopped. Let's go back over to fork, and we can see we have 620 different files that have been produced. Of specific interest to me are deeds. So we're going to go ahead and move on. Make a new folder in LOTRO data dumps. Excellent. Let's do that. So this is just a historical folder that I have on my machine that helps me know what's changed from one version to another. I'm sure there's more automated ways that could be done, but sometimes it's just nice to visualize these things. So what we're going to do is copy all of the files that have been produced here. So we're going to come on into cdev and come on into the LOTRO data. And this is deeds. We're going to take them all. And quests. We'll take all of those too. Just for a historical record. Okay. I don't really need you to sorting by time, but let's not do that. Thank you. Cool. So we have that. Step number 5, compare new to the next oldest to get which deeds are new. Well, to know what the next oldest is, let's come on in and see what we did last here. We have 45.3. Okay. Ideally, 45.3 is the last one. Excellent. So, what we're going to go ahead and do is compare that deeds. Wow, I just don't like what you've done here, Windows. Okay, we're going to compare that English version of the deeds with the most recent one. And we're going to use Beyond Compare as our file comparison program. Oh, we're at 5 minutes and no sign of the warband. I'm have a particular interest in knowing the timing of this, just because if it is pretty much exact, oh no, 5 minutes. Okay, he must spawn back here somewhere. We're going to reposition so we can see Sorzer better. He's also just a very slow walker, so it's taking him a full minute. Okay. Actually, how about we just face it that way from over here? So, timer is restarted. Great. Okay, so this is showing us what is different between the old deed information and the new. So what I'm really looking for are things that I personally care about. These point IDs I don't care about, and we're going to go ahead and browse through a few of these. Points, nope. Skill used, fascinating. Okay, just some little textual changes for the athletic deed. All right. Rewards enhancement rooms got changed. That's all fine. Now, if I needed to, I could go ahead and filter out these changes so they're no longer seen as important. But we're not seeing a bunch of other things here. Oh, what was that? Oh, athletic again. All right. Okay, you've explored the northern... Okay, typo change. Nice. Always nice to see them coming back and getting those typos in fixed. Okay, aggravated avalanches. changed? Oh, the minimum level. But why are you storing your minimum level like that? Oh well. Okay, typo. Or other inconsistency. Alright, quest complete. What is this? The Song of Waves and Wind now has additional... more progress in order to actually be able to finish it. Song of Waves and Wind, which I think was the equivalent of an epic wrapper, had the story continues in future updates, and now it does. So those additional entries. So we'll be able to pick that up automatically. Awesome. But where is this? Is this epic? Category 16. Okay, let's take a look at that. Oh, that's my categories. Let's go over here. LOTRO data, lore, enums, deed category. There we go. 16. That's in the epic. Okay. So we don't expect any sub-deeds underneath that. Those are probably actually quests, though it can be difficult to distinguish between quests and deeds. Okay. 3.5 minutes. All right. So after that, we have Embers of Enchantment got changed to motes. Okay. Virtue XP got removed from Kindred with the Ikrapani, respected by the Tail Wardens. Oh, well, shame. Okay, the Kintai faction, I'm going to make a note here, are no longer hidden. I can't remember if I included them. So let's go take a look. And this would be in reputation. Looks like I just pushed it. Okay. So the Kintai, neutral with the Kintai, no, of Sulmadash. Okay. Kintai of Sulmadash needs to be included. Okay. Great. And they now have rewards. They didn't have that before. And that's... Let me go ahead and pull that information here. Oh, we're at 59, 5 minutes. We're just over 5 minutes here. Plus a little despawn time. Where are you? Is there randomness to the respawn time? This is what we want to know. There we go. Okay, so that was 5 minutes and 50 seconds. But actually it did seem to spawn around here. It was behind me before. Well, either way, I'm going to stand here this time. Alright, restart the timer. Cool. So, neutral with the Kintai of Sulmadash is the first of these that needs to be adjusted. Ally is one of those funny things where you'd think they would add these in the order, some sort of conceptual order that would make sense. Kindred, ally, no neutral, or the opposite. But these are just kind of intermixed. It's very strange to me. All right, looks like you're going from enemy because you have to get to neutral, then acquaintance, friend, ally, kindred. We also have the Jarret Manesh faction. These are no longer hidden, I think. Yep, they were hidden. Okay, good. So we want to go ahead and get those involved as well. Now, we had seen them get into the data files, so we knew that they were coming, but we didn't want to include them early. Okay, so that is those. Oh, one more. Oh, there's a city of Zajana in there as well. That was intermixed. I'm copying these off onto a little window on the other screen, but that can be on this screen. That's fine. Okay. So that's friend of the city of Zajana. Neutral with the city of Zajana. Awesome. Cool. So that brings us to the next section, which is possibly some of the PVMP stuff. I think that's changing some minimum level stuff. I don't think that's going to affect us too much here. I haven't done very much PVMP, and I want to. I just haven't had the time. Okay, so we can see the end of deeds tag here. So everything over here on down is all new stuff. So what I'd like to do is go ahead and copy that off, paste it into a working space to work with, so we can do make sure we're adding each one of these. But let's go ahead and come on over to our maintenance document. Compare new data dump deeds with the next oldest one to get which ones are new. Cool. Any new deeds. Copy any new deeds to text file for easy manipulation. Done. Add deeds to existing Excel spreadsheets or make a new one if necessary. In the source files. Fantastic. So what we're going to start with is these reputation ones. Oh, that was weird. And I'm going to go ahead and move this over here, close that solution, and then we're going to be looking at companion data parser. So let's go ahead and find this. Excellent. So we are in the IDs to ignore section, and that is the Kintai, the Tamamir, and the city of Zajana. Okay, so all of those, we can go ahead and nix those. Great. And in the meantime, let's go ahead and get on into Documents, the Lord of the Rings Online. We're going to come into Plugins, Cube Plugins, Deed Tracker, and I'm going into Source Files. So we know that you know what? I probably shouldn't have closed that Beyond Compare window. I wonder if I can get it back. Excellent. So we know that that is category 35, and we know category 35 is reputation. So let's open up our reputation spreadsheet. Well, it's really class race epic. Okay. So we're going to come into reputation. Awesome. We're going to scroll on down. Kapani, Tilwardens, the Kintai, Amelia studies. Great. So we're going to go ahead and add in new categories. Now we have 3 of these. I don't know if conceptually they should go in a specific order. If anyone watching is up to date with the newest content and has a sense of Kintai, Tamamir, or Zajana, if there's a general ordering of these things, I am going to do them in this order, I think, because that's kind of the order in which they popped into the file. There's no other reason for it. So we're going to go ahead and do kindred, ally, friend, acquaintance, neutral, kindred, ally, friend, acquaintance, neutral. Excellent. So this is Kintai of, this is this, and city of Zajana. I am curious. Alright, there is a faction here. Okay. Oh, good. We should be able to see that in the deed data itself. Great. So, the faction name is Kintai Silvash. Okay, great. What about that? Oh, no. Faction level. Okay. Yep. And the city. I'm really just looking to see, do these factions start with the, for instance? Nope, city of Sajana. Okay, great. So that's all set up. So what we want to do is get these into here. So we know each one of these has 6 lines. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we're going to insert 18 new rows here. And this is going to be wider than I need it to be. Let's get that in. And then we can go ahead and do just a multi-select here for those IDs. And a multi-select for the names. And then we want to do the same thing for each 3 of these. Okay. So that is ready, mostly. We're going to go ahead and get the types here. And for the category, we do need to go ahead and get those categories added in here. So let's come on into our deed categories. And we know the previous one is going to be Amelia's studies. So the next one here, oh, I'd already added those in. Great. 323. We're going to add that to the category ID. Why are you... I had thought there. That's interesting. Okay. 324. Why did I have these already in here? Oh, that's funny. I didn't even remember putting those down there. But you know what? That's okay. For the tiers, we'll need to replicate that. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's pretty much what we had here. Awesome. So, the last thing, 325. Fascinating. Great. Deviate in chat does not think that they are up for this. Well, I am doing something really weird here as far as programming in Lua is concerned because I'm in Excel. But the basic idea is we want to be able to produce a listing of deeds in LOTRO, but encoding the relationship that acquaintance of the Ikrabani, for example, is dependent on first getting neutral with the Ikrabani. And if you get kindred with the Ikrabani, it implies that you already had ally, which implies you already had friend, which implies you already had acquaintance, which implies you already had neutral. And the reason why I like that kind of a view is because the default way of showing this information in the built-in deed log doesn't incorporate any of that information. So if you come into reputation and we show all the completed, you're going to see all of the allies sorted together because it's alphabetical. Well, first it's sorted by type. Well, these are all reputation deeds. And then it's sorted alphabetically. And so you don't really get to see that correlation between, okay, here's ally in the Conquest of Gorgoroth. Where is kindred in the Conquest of Gorgoroth? Good luck, it's down here somewhere. And so I really like putting, conceptually, deeds that go together visually together. And that's the whole point of the deed tracker plugin, was to give you a way to visualize these things in a way that the built-in window wasn't really helping with. Certainly there were a couple of other objectives, but that was a big one. So we're taking information about these deeds, and we need to encode them into into Lua, the programming language that Lord of the Rings Online's plugins are written in. And so what we want to see is we want to see this listing of all the deeds in a more reasonable order and information about them. So that's what's going on. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and kill these old lines. And that should clear the you have a duplicate ID issue. Yes, it does. Awesome. David says, thanks, I feel smarter now. Well, I hope that was more helpful than not, and feel free to stick around if Lord of the Rings Online or coding in Lua, or both, are of interest to you. Okay, so what we want to do is make sure that all of the Excel formulas are properly working. So I'm just going to copy down all of those formulas, and we should be able to see that these are all in place now. Excellent. I think I'm done with... Okay, let's take a look at this. So tiers information should be embedded in here. So let's go ahead and hide this column. It's outdated. And let's take a look. Tier 1, 2, 3, 4. Awesome. Great. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to copy this range of cells. And we're going to bring it into the source control here. We don't want to be in skirmish instances. That'd be crazy. We want to come into class race epic. Awesome. We want to be in a reputation. And we're just going to replace what is currently here with this new information. Cool. So if we come on into our file comparison, we can see that the Kintai of Sulmadash, the Temamir of Jaret Manesh, and the city of Zajana have been added in. And what's more important, the part that we wanted the Excel spreadsheet to handle, is all of the indexes of everything after that have been automatically updated so that we don't have to manually handle that. Okay. So if we come back to our list here, that was all of these. So I'm good being done with that. So that's the existing deeds that we released from being hidden. Now we have new deeds. And just to give us a sense of how many deeds we have 129. So it's entirely possible we won't have time for all of these during this stream. And if so, I will endeavor to get them done this week and put out a release so that people have all the new deeds for the new regions for that auto detection to take place. In the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and turn off word wrap because it's a lot. And what we want to do is have a sense of what new regions we might have and how these are related to each other. So let's take a look at this. We see category 91. So let's go look at those categories. Category 91 is Murgala. And we can expect maybe some category 90 as well because that's Kingdoms of Harad. So let's go take a look at that. So what I want to do is find every category and put it into here. We're going to go ahead and sort these lines. We're going to go ahead and permute them to only take unique. And this tells us each of the categories that we can expect to see. Now, some of these categories are a bit odd. And I think I have Yeah, okay, that was quest category. That was my bad. I should have taken something a little bit broader like this, quote, space category. And that would have been a way to avoid any accidentally grabbing the wrong thing. So let's go ahead and sort these. Let's go ahead and permute unique. And we can see we only have 4 categories to work on, to worry about. So 35. Category 35 is reputation. Okay, so we might have some new reputation deeds. Great. 86. That is Urashdar. Okay. And categories 90 and 91, that's Kingdoms of Harad and Murgala. Now, do all of these categories exist within Deed Tracker? Probably not. Let's come on into Harad with. We have Urashdar. Okay, great. We have Ambarul. We have Imhular. Yep. The Legacy of Morgoth. That should be an instances category. Yep, Legacy of Morgoth. So we're going to need to add 2 of these categories. And hopefully the maintenance document will remind us what we need to do about that. Okay. So, maintenance. Copy any new deeds, add to existing spreadsheets. Yep. You can look at which tab it is with the category. If you need to add new tab section, header / category. Yeah, that's categories. If there's a new type of deed, that might, to my knowledge, there's not. Oh, good. Tier information is currently encoded. Nope, that's done. If there's a new deed log tab, that will involve updating several plugin files. Deed info, deed lookup tables, deed info strings, and companion data parser. Yeah, okay. So, let's come back to that in a moment. Let's find all the category 35s. So, and I'm going to undo word wrap here. Okay, so we have a new faction. It looks like Hunter's Guild of Murgala. And that's these. We have Hamat Renewed. Okay. That's a lot of them. Okay, Kindred, Allied, Friend, Acquaintance. Okay, so we have Kindred, we have Ally, Friend, Acquaintance, Neutral, oh, and Respected. Okay. And then Bog Slayer, I don't understand why that is categorized as reputation. But let's come back into this list here. I'm going to guess that is an error. But it is what it is. It currently appears to be in category 35, which is reputation. It should have been category 91, which is Murgala. And we're going to go ahead and categorize it the way it is. Here's the problem. I don't know they're going to fix this. Sometimes errors persist. Sorry, I'm contemplating whether I want to represent the world as it is or as it should be. But if you misrepresent it in deed checker and then someone can't find it in the deed log, that doesn't seem useful. So, okay, think about that. What else do we have? We have 86, and 86 was Urashtar. I do not like that that was miscategorized. Okay, but we're going to go ahead and take that and put it into its own for right now. And this is reputation deeds. 86. Is also the wrong category. It very much should be Murgala, and it looks like it is Urashtar. And that makes me sad. Maybe we fix these. Okay, I'm thinking that I'm changing my mind already. Okay, so let's do Hamat Renewed and Hunters Guild of Murgala. Let's go do these reputation, because those should actually be here. Okay, so for each of these, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we have 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 2 categories. Alright. Renewed. And we'll go ahead and take these deed IDs. And then it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the names of them we can grab as well. Great. And we know that's reputation deeds. So that was Hamat Renewed. Let's go ahead and do Hunters Guild of Murgala. And then it's going to be 1, 2, 3. So Hunters Guild of Murgala, let's grab those IDs. And those names. Okay, so we need a couple more category IDs for these two new categories. Let's go ahead and grab those. So D category IDs, 325, great. So we're doing 26 and 27, and that is going to be not renewed. Now I'm getting a duplicate index, so that is not correct. Must have added something else in the meantime. So let's go down to the bottom here. Last used was 330. So we can double check that. 330. Yep, there's a problem. 331 is not. So it's going to be 331 and 332. Last used was 332. Great. Now I do need to get those entries into the other languages as well, but we'll start with that. Okay, so 31 and 332. Our category IDs, 331, 332. Okay. So let's go ahead and get those over here. Okay, so 485 entries now. We're going to come into deed info, and that is coming into the reputation section. Okay, so that gives us information there. Awesome. But we're not done yet. So let's do some fix-ups. Wait a sec, that says Bogslayer 91. Did I do something to that earlier? It says category 91. Well, I'll take it. Just to be sure, I'm going to have a fresh copy from there. Always nicer if I messed up rather than SSG. Okay, let's go ahead and double check my assumption. So we're going to go ahead and sort those lines. We're going to go ahead and permit them to unique. We do still see category 35. So let's go take a look at that. So category 35, neutral with the Hunters Guild. That's good. Kindred with the Hunters Guild. That should be good. Ally Hunters Guild. And friend of the Hunters Guild. Great. And acquaintance of the Hunters Guild. And Hamat Renewed. Also these. Friend, ally, and kindred with Hamat Renewed. Okay, we're going to go ahead and respected. Get rid of those. Awesome. So, do we still have any category 35s? We don't. Great. We still seem to have some category 86s, though. Just this one, and that's the Treasure Seeker Morgalla. It should be 91. I'm going to executive decision that should be 91, but that's the only one. Okay, category 90. The Wailing Hold. Okay, that seems plausible. We have 24 of those out of 118. So let's do category 90 first. Okay, so category 90, category 90, more category 90, more category 90. Nice of these to all be in the same general location. Yep, category 90, great. Ninety, 90, 90, 90, 90, and 90. Great. I'm going to go ahead and move all those over. We're going to see category 90, 24 of them. Great. What we want to see is that there are no more, and that the rest of these are probably category 91. So to verify that, we'll go ahead and sort that. We'll go ahead and permute unique. Great. So now that we have these divided into two categories, we're going to go ahead and label these files at least a little bit. So this is Kingdoms of Harad 90, and this is Mergala 91. Okay. Yeah, there's one. Yeah. You're looking for attention. Yeah. You trust my chair not to break and squish you? It's a lot of trust you have in this chair manufacturer. Yeah. Okay. Now, it looked like all of these were related to an instance or instance cluster, the Wailing Hold. So I'm going to assume, I'm going to start on the assumption that that is true. Now, why those are not going into an instance tab, I don't understand yet. Here we go. Yeah. I wonder if your purring is coming across. You're kind of sitting on my lavalier. I can't do this for too long. I need both my hands. Okay. You're being delightful. Thank you. Scooch. Vamos, ya varmint. Okay. So, we're gonna, yes, rub on my monitor. That will be great. We're gonna go ahead and let's go see, I think could hear Kato's purring. Excellent. She was acting squirrely earlier, and I managed to calm her down, I guess, enough that she was willing to kind of sprawl out of my arms for a couple of minutes. But she's not a big be in your arms cat, so the fact that she's willing to do that at all is progress. Okay, Kingdoms of Harad. Let's go ahead and pull that up here. Oh, we have Arashtar. Do we not have either of these? Kingdoms of Harad or Mergala? I guess not. Let's come into here. We can see... Oh, okay. Good. These silly tabs. Kingdoms of Harad is a new instance. Is awesome. Love it. Okay. So Kingdoms of Harad. So instances, Kingdoms of Harad versus Mergala, which is Haradwaith. Okay. Phew! I was about to be worried. Okay, so we have two new tabs, one in instances and one in landscape, and this feels a lot more familiar as far as new deeds go. That is one thing I don't especially love about this deed categories listing is it doesn't tell you where it is in the hierarchical structure of the deed log, just that it is there. So, yeah. Okay. Um, let's go ahead and look at what the steps are for adding these two new categories, because that's what we need. So, not you, you. Okay, let's go to the maintenance. And let's go ahead and view word wrap. Okay, if you need to add a new tab section, nope. If there's a new deed tab that will involve updating several plugin files. Deed info. Okay. So, one of them is going under Harad and one is going under instances. That's great. So, deed lookup tables. Okay. That's good. Deed info strings. All right. We'll need those for each language eventually. And okay, preprocessor stuff. So let's start here. We need instances. So we need to go ahead and add an entry here. So instances, whatever this name was, Kingdoms of Harad. Great. We'd like to do it all uppercase, so Kingdoms of Harad. And this is a conceit for some of our lookup table stuff, so that's fine. Let's go ahead and find that entry in the deed lookup tables. Okay, that's going to be 18. Awesome. Oh, should have been str. Great. And let's look for any other locations of that. Okay. The exact text, please. We have an entry here that we're going to need. Okay. Great. And that's going to be Kingdoms of Harad. We can include that comment. And oh, that's funny. Okay. So we have this, we have that, and finally this. Okay, so all the places we should expect to update are updated. Awesome. Let's go on to the next, which was in Haradwaith. And if it should be Haradwaith, let me know. I haven't gotten that far in the text. We need Haradwaith, and that's going to be Mur Bala equals 8. Great. So, each of those places we have an Urashtar. We need one of those. So, we have this. We need it here. Okay. And we have it there as well. Great. So, we're doing pretty well there. But the preprocessor also needs to know that these things exist. So let's go ahead and fix that problem now. Okay. So, same basic idea. Let's go ahead and do a quick search for these two things. So, Legacy of Morgoth. Okay, Did I actually tell myself what I was looking for? Page tab. I should have looked for that. Okay. Okay. We are looking for these bindings between page and tab and the lookup stuff. So we know that this is going to be, the new category was Kingdoms of Harad is 90. Excellent. And then another entry was going to be in Harad. Excellent. And that's going to be 91. And that's Murgala. Cool. So that's those two, but we also need the lookups for the languages. So coming on in here, we need each language's reverse entry. And we're going to start with English. And the way we're going to do this is looking at this deed category. And in fact, let's go ahead and pop that open for deed category Deutsch. Deed category French. Do I have Russian in here? I think I do. Deed category. Nope. Open. I had clicked on the wrong one. Okay, that's those 4 deed categories. And the good news is there's not that many deed categories. This is going to be pretty straightforward. So deed category English, this is exactly Kingdoms of Harad. So we're going to go ahead and say when you encounter that, that is going to tab to page 18. And when you get to Murgala, that is pointing at page 10, tab 8, or tab 8, page 10. I can't remember which I do. Page tab. Okay, page 10, tab 8. So, we are good with the English version of that, but now we need to do Russian, French, and German. So let's go ahead and do that. So, same basic idea though, is in German, we're going to go ahead and do the Kingdom of Harad. Excellent. And a lot of times some of the things that feel like they're not English don't really get localized into other languages either, which is a pretty Tolkien way of approaching things. So Murgala stands as its own value. Okay, that looks good. We're going to come on into French. And come on in and we can see French was not localized. This is not surprising, but it is going to be a problem for later. Waiting for localization. I think I saw something about some of the French stuff, and maybe some of just non-English stuff in general, not getting localized in time for the release. I would expect that is coming. So, but in the meantime, we can go ahead and add these entries for French and update them as SSG is updating them. Fortunately, this part only affects me. So when there's an error message, because there's a mismatch, it's only going to catch me. The Russian, of course, also not updated. Legacy of Morgoth was, though. So let's go ahead and... Oh, is it? Legacy of Morgoth is 89. Yeah, we can go ahead and do that. Awesome. So, Kingdoms of Harad is 90. And that corresponds to page 2, tab 18. Awesome. And then Murgala. So, looks like the Russian is getting caught up, so let's go ahead and check out 87. Yep, that's localized. Let's look for 88. Excellent. Let's look for 89, was it? No, Rashtar. That was 86. And let's look for, oh, Murgala? Yeah, not yet. Okay, great. So anything that's not Cyrillic here, we can always circle back around and pick that up. Not seeing it. Okay. So just those two new ones that are not localized. Cool. So that gets us our updates there. And according to the maintenance document, that is good. So we can go ahead and add these as tabs into our spreadsheets, get that information in, and we'll be good to go. So we're going to start with coming on in to instances. So first thing I'm going to do is scroll back to the end and just clone legacy of Morgoth. So we're going to create a copy more or less at the end. And that is going to be Kingdom of Harad. Kingdoms of Harad. Great. So we're going to hide the tier code. We're going to go ahead and delete all of this. I want to leave the limited time only as a reminder to myself, I think. Yes, for right now. Cool. Okay, so we need 24 deeds. Are these all the Wailing Hold? That's a great question. Not obviously. Let's go ahead and undo word wrap and start putting these together into some sort of reasonable hierarchy. So, Vanquisher of Kothrau, the Wailing Hold. In fact, let's go ahead and put some spacing between all of these deeds. Great. So, in order to complete this, you have to complete Tier 1, Tier 2, and Tier 3. So, let's go ahead and find those. So, this is Tier 1. Let's find Tier 2. And there's Tier 3. We'll grab that as well. Okay, so, nope, that was not what I meant. Oh, that was leading the charge. Whoops. We want to get the actual Tier 3. Great. So Tier 1, Tier 2, and Tier 3. We also have a related leading the charge, but that's going to be different. The Fallen Palace is something else, but we can see that is a part of Vanquisher of the Fallen Palace. So let's start a new category. Vanquisher is going to have Tier 1, 2, and 3, and it looks like possibly a Slayer deed. Let's go ahead and grab that. That's Tier 3 leading the charge, sure. We'll go ahead and move each of these. Cool. And we'll put this leading the charge with the other one. Oh, and there is a few more of those deeds. Great. So let's go ahead and take a look at what we have. We have the Fallen Palace. We have a Tier 1. We have Tier 3 and then Tier 2. Let's fix that. And then we have the Ordekai, which is a Slayer deed requiring 100 Ordekai within the Fallen Palace. Okay. Excellent. And you can get the title Ordekai Usurper. Okay. That was the Vanquisher of the Ekal Nebi. Yep. Was this a part of anything? Oh, it is. Oh, cool. We need Conflicts of Murgala. Okay. Conflicts of Murgala has Renewer of the Treasure Caves. Okay. Oh, okay. That's a whole different thing. So that's the Treasure Caves. Oh, I see a Tier 2, Treasure Caves Tier 3. Oh, great. All of that. Let's grab that. So that should be 1, 2, 3 brigands. But I am going to go ahead and move the leading the charge in with the other ones. Okay, leading the charge. Leading charge, leading charge, leading charge. Great. Okay, so that was the treasure caves. Then we have Kothrau, the Wailing Hold. Excellent. Then we have Ekal Nebi. Great. And then we have the Folly. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and come back up here. Ekal Nebi. Cool. That's the last one. Completing this one is Tier 1. We also have Tier 2 there, so I'll go ahead and grab that. And Tier 3. So that leaves Treasure Caves, Kothrau, Economy, and we have an original challenger and leading the charge. Leading the charge, I'll have to double check what else I've done, but I would assume leading the charge goes before original challenger. What do we do for Legacy of Morgoth? Leading the charge, original challenger. Whew. Consistency. Okay, great. So we have a general ordering for these 24-ish deeds. Awesome. Okay, so we're currently at about an hour and a half through this stream. That is nominally 2 hours. So what I'm expecting is to go ahead and at least finish off the Instances Kingdoms of Harad deeds, but possibly not get into the Murgala deeds because there are 94 of them, and it's going to be very similar to this, where we're looking for those hierarchies. So the Bog Slayer of Adagim is going to be part of the Slayer of Adagim, which is going to be a part of the Renewing Adagim, which is itself a part of Rejuvenator of Murgala. And so we're going to probably have that be the root, right? This is going to be the root of these 90-some deeds, where Murgala being the overall, and then within that, we're expecting to be doing Adagim, Kirgan, Ansheru, and Idagal. So each one of those is going to have that hierarchical thing, where the Slayer has these different advances. Renewing has Slayer and Explorer and Quests and possibly some other things. And so it's going to go like that. So that's the first thing I do, is just so I know what's going on. I reorder these things so that conceptually they make sense to me. So we can see everything here is underneath the Conflicts of Murgala meta deed. And then underneath that is a meta deed for each one of the 4 instances in the instance cluster, and then within that we start getting into the actual meat of it. So that's what I do, and you could do this a little bit more streamlined, where you find the root and you immediately start placing these things. But I like to know where all of the deeds are going before I get started. And that lets me spot any potential issues, like a deed being miscategorized if it is. Um, so we're going to go ahead and do the Kingdoms of Harad here over the next 15, 20, 30 minutes, whatever it takes. And then probably I will do the Murgala version of what we see on stream, off stream. And that'll let me finish it up without having a super long stream today. So that's the plan for the next umpteen number of minutes. Okay, so we need a Kingdoms of Harad tab. We have a Kingdoms of Harad tab. Great. In the Legacy of Morgoth, we had a different category for each of the instances in the instance cluster, and a not actively achievable category in order to categorize all the leading the charge and original challenger deeds. Which is to say, they are technically right now available, but we know they won't be available at some point in the future. And so these are not included in total deed summaries, and you can in fact hide them completely in the user interface. Okay, so we're going to start with the Conflicts of Murgala. And that is the overall wrapper deed. And we're just going to start with that. Awesome. Underneath that, we're going to do a category for each one of these areas. So the treasure caves of Hurum Kana. That's going to be a category. And underneath that, we'll go ahead and do the Renewer of. And underneath that, we have each of these subdeeds. And we're going to have a tier of 1 there and 2 there, but also 2 for the next ones as well. These are all at the same level of hierarchy. Now, one could say that if you complete tier 2, maybe you get credit for tier 1. I'm not actually sure. You might have to do them both independently. But what's important is this is how it's represented in the deed itself. And I do try to match the nesting as far as the data files showing the deed structure where possible. Okay, we have those 3 tiers. Fantastic. Let's go ahead and grab the Brigands, which was a Slayer deed. Yes. Defeat Brigands within 50 of them. Fair enough. Okay. Sounds like that'd be pretty straightforward. So, we're going to go ahead and trim off these. We have these 4 deeds. And then at that point, this is only referenced here. And we're going to go ahead and trim that as well. Cool. So, Cothrau the Wailing Hold is the next one. Have a spare space there. That is going to be a new category. And again, the first entry under here, which is the meta, is going to be indented 1 underneath the meta Conflicts of Murgala. Okay. So, Vanquisher. We know there's only 3 deeds here, and they're all going to be at the same relative depth in the hierarchy. So, there is tier 1. Here is tier 2. And I'm doing copy pasting even though they're all pretty much the same, other than just 1, 2, or 3, because sometimes they're not all the same. Sometimes there's little inconsistencies in the naming, and in this case, I'd rather have it reflect the state of the data files rather than be technically correct but not be matching. This is just used for commenting anyway. It is a comment for human readable stuff, but for later when I'm trying to find this stuff, it's just nice to know that any mistakes are not because I mistyped something, but because they were there originally. So that's why I'm doing a lot of more copy pasting than maybe I need to. Okay, that was the Vanquisher, the Wailing Hold. Let's come on into Ekal Nebi, the Fallen Palace. This is, again, a category. And then we're going to go ahead and go for Vanquisher of Ekal Nebi, the Fallen Palace, as our meta deed. And that's going to be an indentation of 1. And we know that there are 4 entries underneath this. Tier 1. Cool. Tier 2. And Tier 3. Which is occurring to me that these could be slightly not underneath each other. And whoopsie. And the Orkai. Okay, great. So we have these. So we can go ahead and remove that. We then have the Folly, and that's in quotes, which is fascinating. Well, when in Rome. So we're going to go ahead and do that, and we also have 3 entries that will show up underneath it. So, Deeds of the Folly of. This is going to be Explorer of Tier 1. This is going to be Explorer of Tier 2. And this is going to be Explorer of Tier 3. Then that is all. So, Tier 3, 2, 1, and the meta. Awesome. And then the treasure caves of Hurumakana. Oh, is that all 4? Awesome. So we're going to go grab that not actively achievable. And this is going to be any of the leading the charges and the original challengers. So this is, that one is done. Nice. And in fact, once they're all sorted, it doesn't actually take that long to get them into the spreadsheet, and as we're just saying here. I would like to hide the, whatever this is called, minimap? Yeah, there we go. Alright, that's the treasure caves of, and this should be in the same order. So this should be Kothrau. Next one should be Ekal Nebi, yep. Next one should be the Folly of. Awesome. And the next one, Original Challenger. So, none of those are tiered, but we do want to go ahead and have this limited time only note for ourselves. And we want to go ahead and make sure our preprocessor knows about those as well. So we're going to come on in and find one of these numbers here. Awesome. This is the not available list. Great. Instances, Kingdoms of Harad. And this is going to be each of these. And we're going to want these names. Great. Nope. Great. Okay. So that information will get encoded there. It's a work in progress to get this information out of the preprocessor and into text files, but one step at a time. Okay, so that was all of these, which means Instances Kingdoms of Harad is actually done. Okay, well, that was like a total of 5 minutes. So I guess I'm going to go ahead and work on the hierarchical analysis of Murgala deeds, but it's going to be very similar to what we just did. Okay, yeah. So let's go ahead and get this in while I'm thinking about it. Okay, so we need categories. Let's get those categories done. All right, deed categories. 332 was the last one, and we need to go into instances. And the last one, instances, Legacy of Morgoth, great. Instances, Kingdoms of Harad. So, 332 was the last one. So we're going to be doing 333. So it's going to look pretty similar to this, but it's not going to be that. And we need 4 of these. 1, 2, 3, 4. 334, 335, 336. And that's going to be each of these. And those will get filled in for the other languages as well, but I'll probably do that later on. I find it easier to update the deeds category, all of them, get them all ready, and then fill in those missing gaps over on the other languages. And the way that works is, let's go ahead and reveal in Explorer View. Nope, let's go ahead and reveal in File Explorer. There we go. If we go ahead and just use a file comparison utility, we can come in and see I was really just looking for I want to see. Okay, that may not work as well as I was hoping for. I was hoping just to see only the new lines, but because of all the other things that are different, maybe that wouldn't work so well. You can do it on folder views. Oh well. Probably just as easy to come on into your source control utility, come on into the deed categories and say, oh, hey, last one was 336. These are the new entries that need to be replicated across to the other 3 files. Okay, so those are there though. So we have 333, 4, 5, 6. 333, 334, 335, 336. Great. So this should be good to bring on over to the Kingdoms of Harad. And now we have an entry. Cool. So, what's going on there? Excel. Excel treats cells that are starting with an apostrophe as special. The apostrophe itself is a quoting character kind of thing. So unless you have a double apostrophe, you're going to come into problems. But now, yeah, you can copy paste correctly. Okay, good. That's good at least. But the deed categories, did that work? Nope. The folly of, there we go. Okay. Cool. Okay, let's look at Murgala and however long we have for that. So we're going to start with, and let's make this bigger while we're doing the hierarchical searching. We're going to start with Rejuvenator of Murgala. Why are we starting there? Because if I search for its ID, nothing references it. But if I search for its sub-IDs, obviously we are going to find these. I do want to go ahead and add a new line between every deed though. Okay, there's renewing. We're going to go ahead and take that. Next up, there is exploring Adagim. So we'll take that. Next up is new threats in Adagim. Yeesh. Next up is scouting Adagim. And next up is Treasure Seeker of Adagim. Now, we have a large bulk of deeds already. And so this is where we can take advantage of the fact that we're pretty solid on the structure so far, and we can always move things around later. But if we go ahead and start entering some of this information into a new spreadsheet tab, then we're going to be able to delete the completed entries as we go. So let's open up the Harad Waith and come on in and go ahead and move or copy. We're going to create a copy before that move to the end. Okay, and this is going to be Murgala. Great. So, deleting all of that, hiding this, and cool. Okay. Let's go ahead and come on up. So, we have Rejuvenator of Murgala. We have renewing Adagim. Now, we could have a little category for each one of these. I don't know how strongly I feel about that. So we're going to start without them and see how it looks. So that tier is going to be 1. Exploring Adagim is going to be tier 2. And then each of the 3 deeds underneath that will be tier 3. So that's going to be new threats in Adagim. And each one of these looks like exploration, landmark items. Scouting Adagim. And Treasure Seeker of Adagim. Great. Well, that solves some of that. Now, do we have any other things? Oh, there's an Explorer of Murgala. Okay, so there's a meta deed there. Well, that's okay. Okay, so Exploring Adagim is done. Now we need Slayer of Adagim. Alright. So, Slayer of Adagim is bouncing back up to 2. Then from there, we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we can expect to have 3, 4, 3, 4, 3, 4, 3, 4, 3, 4, 3, 4. for all of the Slayer Deeds of Edachem Advanced and Basic. So let's go ahead and start here. We can see all these. Oh, there may. Yep. There. Okay. There's the Advanced. I was a little about to be a little worried with that. So we're going to go ahead and lift all the Advanced deed items just from here, just to speed it up a little bit. Great. Now that we have that, let's go ahead and look at the first one here, Bog Slayer of Edachem Advanced. And we can see we have Bog Slayer Basic right next to it. So what I want to do is grab that Basic and the names here. Bog Slayer of Edachem. Awesome. And done. So next up, Crocodiles. Alright, Crocodile Slayer Advanced. Great. But we also want the Crocodile Slayer Basic. Here we go. Alright, we have both of those. So we can bring this in. Crocodile Slayer of Edachem Advanced. Crocodile Slayer of Edachem. Okay. And those are done. So let's look at the next. Oh, we have it right here. So that's going to be Hornbane of Edachem Advanced and Basic. Okay. 664. Hornbane of Edachem Advanced. Hornbane of Edachem Initial. Great. Trim those down. We have Orcbane of Edachem Advanced. Do I see another one? It's okay. So, Orcbane Basic we can find here. And we can get going. Okay. Orcbane of Edachem Advanced. Orcbane of Edachem. Awesome. Two more on the advanced side of things. Spider Slayer of Edachem. Yes. And its basic version. There we go. Alright, Spider Slayer of Edachem. Spider Slayer of Edachem. Awesome. And then finally, the Wood Troll Slayer of Edachem Advanced and Basic. Great. So, we're done with those, therefore we are done with Slayer of Edachem, therefore we can go to Tales of Edachem. Now, Tales of Edachem may just be a singular one. Complete quests, 30 of them. There's no other like basic, intermediate, advanced, final kind of thing here. So, we can go ahead and say that it's just this. And this level is level 2, one indent underneath the Edachem meta. Okay, so that was Tales of, which means renewing Edachem is done, which means Keegan. So, we need to find the Rejuvenator of Keegan and do it all over again. And I'm guessing it's going to look really similar except for what things are being slain, what exploration deeds, but the basic process here is going to be the same. So the Rejuvenator of Keegan. Now this is going to be tier 1 under there, and we can expect to start with Explorer of. Now Explorer of Keegan, I'm just going to pull it on up here. we can see that there's going to be 3 different objectives here. So we'll go ahead and pre-populate their tiers. Let's go ahead and grab these. They're called achievable IDs, and they're linked to either quests or deeds, which under the cover are kind of the same thing as far as LOTRO is concerned. And let's go find them. So, dangers in Kegon. I'm going to do this a little bit more in place now. So, dangers in Kegon. We can go ahead and delete that. And then the next one. Scouting Kegon. Awesome. And then finally, Treasure Seeker of Kegon. Great. Okay. So, if those are done, then we can pop up to the top. That's all of Explorer of Kegon. So we're going to be calling that done. And that means next up is Slayer of Kegon. So we're going to come on and down. Excellent, we found this. I'm going to go ahead and yank that up. And then we can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, again 6 here. So we're going to go ahead and get Slayer of Kegon in here. And that's going to be at level 2. And then 3, 4, 3, 4, 3, 4, 3, 4, 3, 4, 3, 4. Those are all the tiers for our Slayer deeds. Let's go ahead and grab each of the deed IDs here. Oops, nope, I need a space for the basic. Okay, so we have each of those, and we're going to do this again a little bit more in place as we're doing this. So we're going to go ahead and find the Tessari Bane Advanced and Tessari Bane Basic. Bee Slayer? What? Be nice to the bees. Alright, basic Bee Slayer of Kegon. Alright, next up. Brigand Bane of Kegon. With the basic. Alright. We have Goblin Bane of Kegon with the basic version. And there it is. And 2 more. We have the Ordekai Bane of Kegon. Excellent, with the next one right here. And finally, we have the Spider Slayer of Kegon with its basic. Alright, there's the Spider Slayer of Kegon. Perfect. Okay, so that was all the Slayers of Kegon, which means we're done with that, which means we just need Tales of Kegon. That's going to be back at the 2 level. Excellent. And that's just completing 30 quests in that area. So that was this. So Rejuvenate of Kegon is complete, which means we can move on to the next one. So let's pop this one back up to the top. Now we can see that we're already down to another 55 deeds, so we've made some pretty good progress here. And there's some area deeds at the Mergala level for each of these, the exploration and the Slayer and whatnot. So there's no good way to group things in multiple ways in Deed Tracker, so I'm just choosing to do the primary entries and then these regional ones separately. And they won't show that hierarchical relationship. Okay, so Rejuvenator of Anseru. Okay. Anseru. So this is back up to level 1. And we can see we're going to start with Explorer of. And that one has 3 different entries. So Explorer of 2333. And then let's actually get the name for Explorer of. Great. Let's go take a look. New threats in Ansharu. Okay. That's just discovering different landmarks, it looks like. Great. Reclaiming Ansharu. Okay. And Treasure Seeker of Ansharu. Well, not too surprising there. Okay, so that should be all of Ansharu's exploration. Yep, which means that one's done. Which means we can move on to Slayer of Ansharu. Okay, this is back to the 2 level, and we know we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 3, 4, 3, 4, 3, 4, 3, 4, 3, 4, 3, 4. One could copy paste them, but why not? Okay. Now, just to speed things up a little bit, let's go ahead and copy all of those IDs at the same time. But we are going to need a line between each of them. There we go. Cool. So we have each of those. What we need is to go find them. Alright, this is Brigandbane of Ansharu. And its child. Brigandbane of Ansharu. Okay. Next up, Dead Slayer of Ansharu. You would assume that they would be dead if they've been slain. Feels redundant. Okay, next up. The Utugi Bane. Utugi? Not sure what that is. Elder Orcs. The Ancient Utugi. Alright, fair enough. That one is new for me. The Utugi is new. But there is a basic. How many of these do you have to do anyway? Only 50 for the basic. That's not too bad. The 400 or so for the advanced versions does feel like a slog in some of the regions. Grudbug Slayer. And it's basic. Only need 100 of them. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. That just shows your dedication without getting too tiresome. Alright, and Grudbug Slayer of Ansharu. Okay. Making progress. 2 more. The Orkaibane avant Sharu. And the basic. Okay, and Wormbane, which is not the same as Crawlerbane. Alright, and there is the basic. Cool, so that is all of the Slayer deeds of Ansharu, which means we're done with this one. And that was Explorer and Slayer, so now we need to do Tales of. Now, Tales of Ansharu just requires 30 quests with no sub deeds to speak of. So, that is Tales of, therefore Rejuvenation of Ansharu is complete. So, Renewer of Idelgal? Sure. Renewer of Idelgal. So, let's pull that up. So, we have Renewer of Idelgal at tier 1. And then we're going to start with Explorer of Idelgal. And we'll pull that up too. Great. We have Explorer of Idelgal at tier 2. And underneath this, there are 3 different deeds. That's going to be at the 3 level. New threats in Idelgal. Oh, we're going to go ahead and clean that up. Reclaiming Idelgal. And last but not least, Treasure Seeker of Idelgal. Okay. So that's all of the Explorer of Idelgal. So that must be done. So that gives us Slayer of Idelgal. So, Slayer of Idelgal also has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 entries here. So we're going to go ahead and grab those IDs, separate them out with spaces, and get them on in to Excel. And we can do that copy paste that I was mentioning. There we go. So we're going to start with Brigandbane of Idelgal. And we'll go ahead and grab that basic ID, clean up, and move on. More Brigandbane. Next. Cobra Slayer. I feel kind of bad for the Cobras. I don't think Cobras are really on the side of anyone, let alone Sauron. I mean, they're on their own side, to be sure. But aren't they all? Alright, Drake Slayer, okay. They definitely have the raw intelligence needed to side with the enemy. I could be with you on that. Oops. Okay, the Tukibane of Idelgal and its basic versions number and the basic version. Okay, great. Next up, Kergrim Slayer of Vidachal. Advanced. And the basic. Orchai Bane of Vidachal. Okay, great. So, that's all of the Slayers of Vidachal. Therefore, Slayer is done. Therefore, we move on to Tales of. Tales of Idachal only requires you to complete 30 quests. So it must be done. Therefore, Renewer of Idachal is done. And at that point, we have no more in the Rejuvenator of Murgala. So we're done with that. But, obviously, we still have 17 more deeds. So, what's up with that? Well, we have Brigand Bane of Murgala. Is this referenced by anything? Not obviously. Nightmare of the Ordekai. Alright, Spider Slayer of Murgala. I'm really just looking for anything. Slayer of Murgala, great. Orc Slayer of Treasure Seeker of... Okay, there's no wrapper for these, apparently. Explorer of Enemies of Ansharu, interesting. Oh, good, that's a part of Hunter of Murgala. That's just adversaries, combatants, enemies, and invaders. Okay, great. Well, we'll start with that, I suppose. That's going to be Adversaries of Idachim. Interesting. Oh, that's different. Oh, you're looking for specifically named ones. Okay. Nice. Combatants of Kikhan. Enemies of Ansharu. And finally, Invaders of Idachal. Great. Okay, Treasure Seeker of Morgalla is a wrapper, yes. Tales of Morgalla is a wrapper. Explorer of Morgalla is a wrapper. Defender of Keegan. Okay, so these things that are named with an area, I think I want to go ahead and reflect that. And we're going to go ahead and do some categorization after, I think. I think there's enough stuff here that that makes sense. Okay, so that is... Kikhan? I wasn't sure, but now that I've seen it all, yeah. Alright, on Sharu. And Idachal. Okay. Great. So anything that is of a thing. You know what? We're going to have Morgalla general stuff as well, I think. So all of that's underneath there. And then we're going to have Morgalla. Oh, but I don't want it to be in the hierarchy. It can't be in the hierarchy. And if it goes to 0, it will disrupt the hierarchy. So, yeah, okay. So anything that's still out of him, let's go ahead and... Okay, well, we have this. Let's go ahead and put it in here, and maybe we'll be changing it up later. So this is 0, 1, 1, 1, 1. 0 is implied. Okay, so... So just grabbing names there, and we'll double check that they are correct. Adversaries of Vatican, combatants of Kiev, enemies on Shotoru, invaders of Utikal. Great. All of that is done. Next up, Brigandbane of Murgala. Okay, this is not referenced anywhere, but it is Keegan, Anshotoru, and Utikal. Okay. We'll go ahead and just throw it in there. Nightmare of the Ordokai. Nice. So you're getting Virtue XP and titles and some coinage there. Alright. Okay, that one is also not referenced anywhere. Slayer of Murgala. And that's going to be Slayer of other thing. Okay, yeah. I think I kind of want the wrappers to come higher than the individual ones. I'm going to think about that. So Slayer of Murgala, because it is this wrapper, I'm going to go ahead and have that higher up. But like Orc Slayer of Murgala is not that. Alright, Treasure Seeker of Murgala, though, yeah. And that was an Explorer one. So we're going to go ahead and put it above. Because Explorer came before Slayer. Alright, Tales of Murgala, that comes after Slayer. Okay, Explorer of Murgala. That's actually feels... Wasn't that part of the treasure? Yeah, okay. So we'll have Explorer of Murgala. Which you won't technically be able to complete without completing Treasure Seek of Murgala, but they don't have an actual hierarchical relationship here, so I don't think I'm going to bother about it. Defender of Keegan. Alright, so these are all kind of related to each other. So we're going to start with Arachim. Alright, Defender of Arachim. Okay. After Arachim was Kikhan. Defender of Kikhan. Then Ansheru. And then Defender of Idachal. Alright. Now we did run over time here. I suppose that's not too surprising. Organizationally, all this is Murgala. I think I would like to put it up here with each of these others. Adversaries of, Defender of. Do I want these by themselves or intermix? Adversaries and Defenders. Yeah, I think I want to intermix them like this. maybe. I'm going to think about that. Oh no, can't intermix them because those are part of that other one. That's fine. But we can at least hoist these up. Okay, so those are all that. We have the Explorers of, Treasure Seeker Slayer, Tales of, and then Brigand Maid Nightmare, Spider Slayer, Orc Slayer. Okay, the real question is, these 4 feel like they could be part of a wrapper deed, and I didn't see that. So let's go ahead and pull that the full file back out and make sure I didn't miss anything. So Defender of Arachim. Nope, it's not a part of anything else. Okay. So that means these are done, and we've actually gone through all of those. So what we want to do is come on in and make sure that all the Excel formula have been copied in, and then we need our categories. So let's go ahead and grab deed categories, and this is going to be in Urash. It's not going to be in Urashtar, but it'll be near it. Imhular? Harad. There we go. Okay. So we want to have 336 is a duplicate, 337 is not. Okay. And we want 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 8, 9, 40, 41. Great. Alright, and Marhala. Okay, great. So that's our categories. So we can go ahead and use them. Starting with 337, 337, 338, 339, 340, and 341. And we can go ahead and update this. Last used was 341. Okay. So we can go ahead and at least populate these in, and that'll let us, at a first glance, see this actually in game. So we want to go ahead and come down to Mergala and get those pasted in. And then let's double check our maintenance guide, because we might be close enough where we can do something with this. So, maintenance. Once deed info has been updated, run update files in this location. All right. Thank you, past me. I would not have remembered that. Update files. Shoop. Okay. You know what? Let's go ahead and just delete those bin and ob directories anyway. And then run companion data parser. Okay. Companion data parser. Now, just double check. I would like to process these conflicting quests while I'm at it. Cool. Let's see. In the meantime, that fell spirit is giving me dread. That's not the right text. Yeah. Companion data parser. Set as startup. Let's try that again. Loading! Awesome. So, lots of files to churn through, munge together, and then spit back out, which is why we have a program doing it for us. Okay, great. Margala string is not present in the dictionary. Well, we should fix that. So all right, Margala string is there. No, I hit the wrong thing. Okay, Margala string. Urashdar is that other places. Good idiom of strings. It's there. Great. But I'm pretty sure that is not automatically. Okay. Is it not? Must not be. Okay, great. H Margala str equals idiom of strings. Was that in the maintenance and I just missed it? It was there. Okay. We need that same information that we had somewhere else. Here. Okay. So deed category German, deed category French, deed category Russian. Awesome. So we need to go ahead and have that for both of these. So instances kingdoms of Harad string equals kingdoms of Harad. And we're going to do this for each of the deed info strings. So let's go ahead and grab German, French, and Russian. And we're going to circle back around and actually update the values. Russian, I think we said, was not in there. Nope, Margala. Okay, French. Nope, and German. Awesome. So that part's pretty easy. We're going to come back in to instances and start by copying in the kingdoms of Harad on line 155. Nope. 147. Russian, I believe we're all done. Kingdoms of Harad, yep. Cool. French, Kingdoms of Harad, there was an actual value? No, Kingdoms of Harad didn't have it yet for French. German did have it. And we're going to have to pick these up later on. Okay, so let's see if we can't get that correct this time. Okay, it made it past where it was before. Yeah. This was where we had that problem. Let's take a look. So, Treasure Seeker of Margala was in category 86, which is a problem because we need it to not be in that one. Urashtar. So, what do we do with that? We can hard code a fix for that. Now, IDs indices lookup. Okay, so the problem is the lookup is... Okay, so fill in extra info. We could do this. If source deed dot what? The ID. The ID is the problem, yes. ID equals this, then destination deed dot category. These are, oh, sorry. Yes. Source deed dot category equals, and we need it to be 91. Is this a string or an int? String. Okay. Let's give that a look here. And then we can say treasures was miscategorized on release. Great. Let's see if we can't get something a little bit more sensible with that. Great. We did a filling in. We called fill in extra info. But my category is 91. Okay, good. So deed output deed tab where was that set? Fill in page tab. Okay. Let's actually do this in the correct order. Though, do we do any other exceptions here? I would do kind of do that. We have a tab override. Okay. Fair enough. Use the actual mechanisms we have for this. Okay, tab override. Let's go take a look. Oh, yeah, I did that for the allegiances, but we can go ahead and fill it in. I won't paste it in there. And this should be 8, I think it was. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right. Let's actually use the process for this one more time. Hooray, it's different. Okay, let's find out. First of all, is this a real thing or did I make it up? It's real. Awesome. Did we say to ignore it? Deed not found in the lookup table. Which lookup table? Deed indices. Okay. Wait, did I include it? So it's neutral with the Hunters Guild of Murgala. Okay. What's coming into the reputation source file? I didn't do neutral with the Hunter's Guild of Murgala. Must have made a mistake with that. Okay. Well, that's super easy to fix. This is why we cross-check. Neutral with the Hunter's Guild of Murgala. I did think it was a little weird that it didn't have one at the time. Okay, and that is filled in. And we're going to have to replace all of the numbers below it, and that's why we have a spreadsheet to do that. So let's come on in to our deed info. And that's going to be here. And that is going to be reputation. Awesome. The indentation here, Visual Studio Code has been weirding out on doing it the same as it was, unless you delete what was there and then paste a new one. And it makes the diffs annoying, so I do want it to be the same as it was. Okay, so one more time. Did I actually hit the save button? And save button, yeah. Okay, good. Are we missing any other deeds? Possibly. All right, the given key. Ambaro. What is this? All right, so this is source deed. ID this. Okay, what is this? Okay, dangers in. Category 87. Yes, okay. How many categories? 87. Wait, okay. So, source deed. What do you mean it's not found? So that is source deed. Category. Okay. Did they change it in some subtle way? Let's find out. No. Okay, so it's supposed to be 87. So source deed. Category is listed as Ambaro. That doesn't seem right. But, oh no, okay. I updated some categories in Russian, and I didn't update them here. That was silly of me. Okay. So, deed info strings, Russian. Great. All right, those need to be in sync. Good Sachen. Imhular. and Murgala. Okay, great. Russian. One last try. I did change something there too, didn't I? Yeah. Okay. So, lesson learned, never change anything. Yay! It finished all the cross-checking and is now actually writing the stuff out. At this point, if we haven't errored out, it's probably fine. But those were reasonable things to need to deal with for right now because of some of this duplication of stuff within the preprocessor and in the data files. It's a work in progress to unify them all. But in the meantime, let's go ahead and take a look at what we have. We have gone through, added 2 new categories, Kingdoms of Harad, and these are pages I call them, and Murgala. We have the Kingdoms of Harad deeds here. We have, reputation, Kintai of Sul Madash, Tenamir of Jeret Manesh, City of Zajana, Hamat renewed, and Hunters Guild of Murkala. Great. We have Murkala itself. Those are all the new deeds. And then a lot of the rest of this is going to be automatically generated stuff. So what I want to see now is if we go ahead and reload this, can we see what we're missing? So first of all, we see there's a new Murkala category with 150,000 virtue experience and 300 LOTRO points available. We can see a rejuvenator Murkala here with Arachim, Kichan, Ansharu, and Idhal, as well as Murkala in Alchemain in general. And all of that indentation on the face of it looks pretty good. If we go ahead and check off Rejuvenator, the categories are not correct. So that's my bad, but it is fixable. So let's go ahead and go back into Harad with. So the categories here need to also be indented or it messes with the logic. Great. Now, that's a pretty minimal change. But it will want a rerun of that preprocessor. So let's go ahead and get that in. That is... What are you doing? What do you mean duplicate? No. You are not correct. Okay. Oh yeah, you are correct. Thanks, IntelliSense. That's why I do like having these on another line. Great. Wasn't actually the one I was trying to go into, but I'm glad we could fix that bug. Okay, so we're going into Murgala. No. What is it? Murgala. Okay. Murgala. Okay. Let's fix this. Do I have to redo everything? I do. Okay. Fair enough. Now, in the meantime, let's actually go check out our instances. We have Kingdoms of Harad here. And Kingdoms of Harad, I think we're actually going to see the same problem in that if I check this off, it's not going to work. So no point in continuing that. Let's fix the instances indentation issue as well. Okay, so this should be 1, this should be 1, 1, and 1. And then we're going to go ahead and pull these on over. And this is going to be Kingdoms of Harad, all 29 of them. Great. Now we can do this. Okay, still writing. Well, we'll go ahead and unload the D tracker while it's busy ripping out those files from under it. And we're going to go ahead and come back in here. So, Kingdom of Harad, we can see, can we? Have we done something? Those aren't getting indented properly. Let's figure out what's going on with that, because it should be. Okay, so first of all, we see tier entries being done in those. Okay, excellent. Let's find all the instances of this. Okay, D data. Nuts. Category indentations are different. That seems unnecessary. Faster though. Right. And that's all that took. Okay. So, we can see that the nesting is working correctly now. And if we go into instances, that is true here as well. So, indentation is correct. Let's go look at reputation real fast. And we can see, hopefully, same basic thing. Amelia studies. What is the right thing to do for Amelia studies? It's not. Alright, so Amelia studies stuff indeed info. That should be available 9. And I don't know if we can do this, but I am curious if we can do available 9 entry for Amelia studies. Let's take a look at that. Well, maybe. Cool. Okay, so if we do kindred, that's fine. If we do Hamat, that's fine. If we do cities of Shana, okay. Do that. That's good. That's good. That is good. So all that looks fine. The indentation looks great. Cool. Okay. Well, we went a little bit longer than I meant to, but we were making such great progress. Obviously, there's a few more things between the different language files for categories that needs to be updated, that kind of thing. But the bulk of importing deeds from this update into the data files that DTracker needs, all that's done. So I need to do some cleanup, and that will be ready to go. So, neat. Okay. Well, like I mentioned, I think that's all we are going to cover today, and we are caught up in the chat. So, thank you very much for joining me on this exploration of LOTRO plugins in general and DTracker in specific. I hope to see you all here next week when we'll be celebrating Yule in-game, and until then, keep plugging along. All right, bye-bye now.